Go download my free legato course right now and learn to play fast in the fastest way possible. It's 4 core exercises that you need to focus on in order to reach the highest level of mastery. And then I'm going to give you the 3 sub-skills of legato. Once you master these 3 little skills, then the overall skill of playing very fast runs using hammer-ons and pull-offs will be very easy. So go sign up right now and get immediate access for free. See you in the course. Hey, what if I could show you a way in which you can turn a few little skills, something you've learned and spent quite a lot of time on, and you could expand those so they would just, instead of being this little bundle of stuff you've learned, you could very quickly, using a percentage of the time it took to learn them, by combining them in new ways and being creative, you could just expand the amount of stuff you're able to do with them. So it sounds like you've been practicing for 10 times what you actually put in. This is possible. And this is possible using a very, very simple principle of getting a lot from a little. But it requires discipline, because most people are really following their monkey brain. We got 3 levels. We got the reptile, we got the monkey in the middle, and then we got the uniquely human frontal lobes at the top there. And most people just go by the monkey intuition, which says, if I want to be able to do a lot, I have to learn a lot, of course. So every time I get good at something, I move on to something else. Have to learn that sequence, have to learn that lick, that song, that chord, and so we just move on like that. And it's the most inefficient way to go about it. There's a secret to this that I'll show you a very practical example of, so you can start doing it every single time you practice. I used to do this. I used to practice different stuff, practice a little of that, then this sequence, then I practiced that, and my development was very slow up until the point where I took each and everything I already practiced to the level of mastery or below, and then I started creating variations to it. Not based on something new, but based on movements that I could already do, that I've already practiced. So I basically just took what I learned and combined it in new ways and practiced combining it, because we can't just do that. We can't just combine 1 with 2 and 3, and you know that, right? You have different sequences and licks. How do you combine them? You don't know, because you have to practice it, going back and forth between different elements. But that practicing of going back and forth takes no time compared to what it takes to actually practice the different little movements with your fingers. It's like, please understand this. Please get this right now, because it will mean more to your development than perhaps any other single thing right now. And it is this. If you have 2 different colors, how many combinations of colors can you do? You got green and blue. How many? 1, right? You can combine green and blue. That's it. If you have 3 different colors, how many combinations of colors can you do? Well, let's say you have green, red, and blue. You can combine the first with the second and the first with the third. You can combine the second with the third. I just added 1 item. And then suddenly the amount of combinations you can do explodes. Okay, so what if we have 4 colors? Please follow me. How many combinations can you then do? Well, combine 1 with 2, 1 with 3, 1 with 4. Then 2 with 3, 2 with 4. Because 2 and 1 is already combined, then 3 with 4. And so, as you increase the amount of elements you learn, the amount of sequences you learn, licks, whatever it is, then the combinations you can do explodes. That's the way of getting to the highest level of total freedom, where you can just improvise and do all kinds of stuff, that magical level. But it's just a little secret away, a little thought process away, and then a practicing focus of taking what you already know and then getting the most out of it. And I don't care if it's 3 notes on a string or if it's like a sequence like this, right? You want to expand it like crazy, because that's how you get to that exponential growth level where you practice this much and then suddenly you can do all of this while the other guy next to you is still practicing new stuff all the time. But the key is to practice the transition between the different things you already know. So let me give you a very practical example so you can start doing this today. And I urge you to watch this video over and over and over again so you really get this principle. So let's get started. Let's look at a minor 7th pattern. Just for an example here, we got the notes in the 12th and the 14th fret. Please follow along on the G string. Then we have a note in the 13th fret on the B string. On the high E string, we got the 12th and the 15th fret here. And let's say I'm practicing a pattern like just going up and down the arpeggio with some hammer-ons and pull-offs and some sweep picking string shifts. So I go play it from the top, 15th fret, pick that with an upstroke, pull off down to the 12th, then hit the 13th fret on the B string with an upstroke, and the 14th fret on the G string with an upstroke. And then the 12th fret on the G string with a downstroke. So it looks like this. So you pick the 2 last notes there. Then you go in the other direction by hammering on to the 14th on the G string. Then you pick the 13th fret with a downstroke and the 12th fret on the B string, and then the 12th fret on the high E string with a downstroke as well. And then you pick the first note again of the whole arpeggio with an upstroke. Gives you a nice rhythm, and in the hand there, it's a really good, cool exercise for combining hammer-ons and pull-offs and the sweep picking string shift. But let's say you spend hours practicing this, you know, with the metronome in front of the TV, and then once you've done that, you want to really exploit what you've been practicing. So let's look into it. Instead of moving on to something else, you say, okay, what else can I do with this? Well, I can do any 4-note arpeggio in the same way. Right? So if I lay out my arpeggios in exactly the same way, where I have 2 notes on the first, 1 on the next, and 1 on the next, then I can play any arpeggio using the same picking pattern. That's really cool. That's what my modal mastery system is based on. That kind of thinking in economy when it comes to practicing. But so let's do some more stuff with it. And if we take a lot of 4-note arpeggio and the dominant 7th and everything, or all the 7 different arpeggios of the major scale, we can do whatever I'm doing now. I can do in all of these arpeggio shapes, which is just a massive amount of value for my practicing time. So let's do it. Let's see. Okay, could I? See, I'm pulling off here. How hard is it to hammer on in the 13th fret, which is the scale note of the A minor scale, and then pull off to What about doing that? And then going right back and doing the same thing again. Right, and I might already have practiced this. Right? So that's the next little thing here. Again, slowly. Right? What if I use some different notes here? What if instead of just going, I could just go up and down these 3 notes here. Now, because, you know, I'm about to practice something like that, so I have the movements in my fingers already. Right? Slowly. And since I'm doing this now, let me use some of my 3-note per string blues scale shape or pentatonic, because I've been practicing that a little bit, so I can stretch out here and go for the 12th or 15th and the 17th fret on the high E string. It's the same thing as this. I'm just using different fingers and I'm playing some different notes. And in the beginning, you might be, relatively good at this. And once you start messing with it, it's going to feel like a whole new thing, but it isn't. It's going because you've been playing this a million times, or 100,000 times, breaking it up and start doing something else like, it's going to seem extremely like you're playing something completely new, but you're not, because you're using the same movements of your fingers, and the result is going to come so fast. It's just amazing. Even though it feels like, oh, this is a big change, right? But so you can go, right, and the second, and then we expanded it. How about tapping? How about tapping that note up there? I've been practicing that as well. Right? I can do that. Let's integrate that with my... Oh, let's... I've been practicing this sequence as well. Let's put it up there. Right, really good with it. Played a different thing that I went... Again. Right, and you can do the same thing with different arpeggios. But, so now I have different variations on the top string. Right, and now I can suddenly start improvising because I have different patterns built in there. And please note the fact that I said before that it's like you're practicing a new thing, but you're not. So the results are going to come much faster than trying to practice something completely different. So now I could take this, and then I could go all the way down in my A minor shape. I could go, those were the first strings, and then I can continue my 2, 14, 12 on the G string, 1, 14 on the D, and then 15 and 12 on the A string. So I'm expanding the shape, and then I can... I don't have a note in between these two. I can put a chromatic note. And play the same thing as up here. But I could stretch out and say 12, 14, and 17. This might be a bad example if you've never done any kind of stuff like this, but please get the core of it, the core idea. And I can do the same things. I can do... Oh, that was actually a different thing. Right? I can tap my... And then I could go up and say... Right? And go back and forth again. Right? Suddenly I'm improvising at an extremely high level of speed. Another thing, the last thing I'm just... Because you can keep on doing this and come up with new ideas. Let's just see what I'm actually doing when I'm playing this. Oh, I'm playing. That's a little segment, right? I'm playing that already when I go up here. So why not do that a couple of times? Let's go. So instead of, I just basically stop halfway. And then I go up to the top again. Looks like this. And then all the way down. And don't mind the number of notes, doesn't matter. Just combine stuff, and then you can always figure it out when the music is playing in the background exactly where to end it. Right? And then you can start combining. Once you have a lot of different variations, you start going back and forth between them. And the method you use is to focus on one thing. You compose a little thing like... whatever, huh? Alright, so you go... and don't mind the number of notes. And then I composed this, then I practice it. Over and over again until it's comfortable, and then I come up with a new combination and practice that until it's comfortable. And then that's how I get my ability to improvise. I can do the same thing from the bottom up. Right? So I go, but I just do it again. This was the first, right? Right? So the combinations are endless once you have just a few patterns in your fingers, and you can expand and expand and expand and get so much out of so little if you just stay with it and practice those transitions from back and forth between the little variations. I'm not going to say that I hope this was valuable to you, because I know it is. Once you start applying this every day, but it takes discipline. You have to remember it. You have to remember doing it, because your monkey brain is just going to run the same practicing patterns over and over again. So please make sure you can't forget. Put up a post-it note, or have a background on your phone or desktop on your computer and write something so you really know not to forget it. And I should say that the power lick philosophy, here we go again with the power lick and the nucleus. The power lick philosophy contains this principle as it contains all other principle, or is built on it. So, and the nucleus power lick is basically the simplest movements that takes the shortest period of time to learn. And then it's combining those to create endless combinations and endless variety. It's the most amazing thing. So go check out that program, and I hope to see you in the next free video.